Sorry guys, I'm late. Hi guys. Hi you guys. How's it? Thank you for waiting. You know me. I'm late for everything, including my period. Bad joke. Too soon. It's okay. I can drink now. Hi guys. This is bittersweet. It's sweet, but it's bitter. Hi Layla. Kara's coming Big Island in November. Cool. Hello Mobetta from Molokai. How you guys? What's up? Hi Jason. Shari Shar 3, girl. This is the reason why I'm doing this, is because I actually was pregnant, but this is a special edition of Keeping It Real while maintaining the aloha, because I no longer am hapai. I actually lost the baby. It's so weird saying it. I still get emotional, but I'm gonna try really hard not to cry, because this is not supposed to be like a sad Keeping It Real. This is supposed to be just like a me sharing my mana'o, me sharing my story, and hopefully, if not in this live room, but later, you know, if this ever, God forbid, happens to you or someone, you can direct them to this video of me just like telling you my story, like as a friend, just so that you know that you're not alone. You know, like everybody needs to have a friend that they can just talk story with, or hear what had happened to them in a crazy time in their life, and it kind of just makes the pain a little bit easier. For me, when I found out that I was no longer having the baby, I was just going crazy looking at every single blog and vlog and article I could possibly find. Like, there's actually a lot more support from what I could find in the UK. Like, the UK does a really good job with forums and miscarriage counseling and like support groups, and even Australia. So I was finding I was going down these rabbit holes of like UK support groups, so they're talking a little different, like even in their blogs they're spelling things differently. Like fetus was spelled F-E-T-E-U-S, so I was like fetus. I could just like imagine how they were pronouncing it. But whatever works, it all worked for me, because I was appreciative of hearing, you know, other people's stories. So it's okay, don't worry. I'm not the only one. This is not gonna be a woe is me, feel sorry for me, Keeping It Real. In fact, we're gonna start it off in a positive vibe. I haven't drank in a long time. I finally had a couple of glasses of wine at our last wine night the other night. And it's been nice, I'll tell you that. I've been missing it. So cheers. The wine of the week, I kind of wish I didn't get this one, because now I have kind of like a more bougie palate, because we've been selling these like more expensive wines at our Kona wine nights. But I do love me some 14 Hands. They're from the Pacific Northwest. This one is Columbia Valley. This one is Hot to Trot. It's a smooth red blend. I'm not that quite sure if I am in love with this, but I do appreciate that 14 Hands has canned wine. If you ever need a good can of red wine, it's like 2.5 glasses of wine in a can for your convenience. So cheers to whoever's drinking on this terrific Tuesday. So good. All right. So I have a little agenda. Basically, I'm just going to tell you my story. And women, men, family, if you guys want to chime in on the comments, I'm not going to be reading too intently on all of the comments, because I'm going to just be in my zone talking, but I can't wait to read them afterwards. And I am going to be posting this video along with a more well thought out and articulate blog post that I wanted to spend a little more time working on, along with pictures and everything. And once I do that, then please use that post on my website as like a forum to share your story more specifically and in detail, so that we can be there for each other as people who might be going through this. All right, can you guys hear me okay, by the way? I'm scared, I'm nervous. I was really nervous to do this, you guys. It's like nervous. Okay, so basically we got married in February. Can I put on a filter? Put on a filter. That makes me feel happier. Hey, so we got married in February 222. Actually, today is our 7-month anniversary. Happy anniversary to my husband, who's in there watching basketball. I love him so much. It's been a wild, wild ride these past 7 months. I'll tell you that. So even part of our wedding, like my bridesmaids and I, we all like did this choreographed dance for the people at the wedding. The boys did one, and then we did one as well. And at the end, one of our props that one of my bridesmaids, Natalie, thought of the idea, these little mini baby dolls, and like they all threw them at me as I was sitting on his lap. Like I go and like sexily and then sit on his lap, and then everybody throws little baby dolls and pacifiers at us like, have a baby. So like from right away we knew that that's what we wanted to do. Jordan he's younger than me. He's only 29 and I'm 34. Hey, but I had a son. He treats him as his own. We have a great little family, and Jordan wanted to be, you know, a father of an infant. He's been in Ikenna's life since he was 3, but I just know that Jordan will be a great father. And so, but there were some things that we needed to handle. We thought 6 months after we get married, we'll start kind of trying. I was on birth control. I was taking medicine for like ADD, especially right before my wedding because I had so much going on. I was taking Adderall, and you cannot take Adderall when you're trying to get pregnant. So got off of the Adderall, started taking prenatal vitamins. You guys know me, I love to drink. I was kind of drinking a little bit, but taking it easy. Definitely not smoking, definitely not doing anything naughty, just kind of preparing my body. And after going off Adderall, it was hard for me to like stay awake. Like I couldn't be as productive as I normally was, but I knew that this was for a bigger picture, and it was an adjustment already just to not be working every weekend, to just being at home all the time was like already a huge slowing down of the pace for me normally. So I was just like in a whole new world. But I thought, you know what, this is going to be a good time for me to focus on my health. So we were doing like my husband's a personal trainer, so we were doing personal training group sessions in our garage. Shout out to the Brower Power Elite online group classes that we were doing, and I did them. And then I downloaded this app called Flow that a friend told me about. And Flow, if you guys know what Flow is, it's a ovulation tracker. I had never planned a pregnancy before. I never planned for my son. He was a surprise in the middle of a tour. So I was stoked to look at this cool pregnancy tracker app. You track your period, but my periods have always been a little weird. Women, guys, if this is TMI, just cover your ears. But yeah, my periods have been a little weird, so I kind of was a little weirded out with the whole when was the last day of your monthly cycle, or like when does your cycle start and that kind of stuff. So I figured it out though, I did. And then I had an IUD before that, took it out for about a year, and then had a weird period for about a year. Tracked it on Flow, figured out what my ovulation day was gonna be, or like days. So there was no romance, it was all business. It was not like a passionate it was love, but it wasn't sexy. It was just business. So yes, then there's that waiting game. And if anyone has tried to have a pregnancy, they know there's like a 2-week waiting period. You gotta wait between ovulation and when you can take a positive, take a pregnancy test and potentially have it be positive. So I prepared for that. I bought my pregnancy tests. I bought a pack of, I think 2. It was a 2-pack. And so I was waiting, like counting down the days so that I could take this pregnancy test. In the meantime, I'm preparing for this new business venture called Kona Wine Night. So we have like wine tastings with my friends, preparing for the very first one, which is going to be on August 1st. We're getting like the bands and everybody excited. So I had to like try some wine. So one night, this is while we're in that waiting period, actually it was closer to the 2-week mark, I got kind of a little drunk. Off of the wine that night with my Kona Wine Night friends, and it was a super fun night. But I ended up like going into the Love Shack, my little Love Shack out in the backyard that I built earlier in the pandemic, and I was just sitting out there talking to some friends on FaceTime, like calling pretty much everybody in my phone book just to talk story, because I like talk story. I was going on everybody's story and liking everybody's story like I'm best friends with everybody even though they're strangers. And I ended up like passing out in the Love Shack, sleeping. It was a beautiful night. It was so peaceful, and like the stars were shining, and I was just laying there. I had my pillows and everything out there, and I passed out. And then I woke up and it was like 4 a.m, and I was like, whoa, like this is so beautiful. I could probably have slept out there the whole time if I like dressed differently. But my husband was like inside. He's kind of mad that I was out there by myself. But he was sleeping already, so I just crawled back into bed with him. I woke up the next day, not feeling super good, but then I was like, I have just this weird feeling right now. I'm gonna go take that other pregnancy test, even though, oh wait, I forgot to tell you. So the night before, that's why I got drunk, because that night, that same day, so excited to, sorry you guys, my timeline's a little weird, so excited to take this pregnancy test, and then it came back negative. So I took it, I peed on it, it said negative. So I was like, oh man, so then that's why I drank a lot. Then I went to Love Shack, I was kind of emotional, like bummed about it. I'm like, yeah, maybe it's a little too early, who knows, passed out. Woke up the next day, I'm like, I should try again. I should take the other test. So I took the other test. This is just the very next day, and it came back, it said positive. I was like, oh my God. So then I instantly went on Instacart and I ordered 3 more pregnancy tests from the lady that delivers our groceries. And so she delivered late night a pregnancy test 3-pack. I took one more that night, it said positive. I was like, oh my gosh, it was the Love Shack. The Love Shack is like my lucky shack. It's the Love Shack. It's a baby making shack. You ever want to get pregnant? Just go pass out in my Love Shack and you wake up and you'll be pregnant the next day. Yay! So it was kind of a cool little story that I shared with my friends. And we kept it a little bit of a secret for a few days. I had those 2 extra pregnancy tests, and one of the times I decided to take it again, like maybe a week later, just to make sure, because I wasn't really feeling any symptoms. My son walks in the bathroom. We're a very open family. We pee with the door open. He walks in, he's like, what are you doing? What is that? And I like don't know how to lie to him. He's like, oh babe, it's just a pregnancy test. It's gonna tell me if I'm having a baby or not, because he had known that we were like gonna try, but he doesn't quite know how babies are made. But he's like, really? Oh my God, what does it say? Can I see? Can I see? And so then I'm like, kind of knowing it's gonna say yes, and I look, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is 2 weeks after, I had known. So it's a secret I had to keep. But he was there with me, and he saw it, and he's like, oh my gosh, so excited. My son almost like started crying. He was so excited. And so then I had my husband and my son and myself all in this bathroom looking at this pee stick, and we're just like, family. Oh, like we're really, really stoked. We also had been planning on getting a puppy. This was before we even found out about the dog, that we wanted to have a baby. So we were like, oh, here we go. We're gonna have a brand new puppy and a baby in the same year, and have gotten married. And oh my God, this is gonna be a wild year. Let's do this. So I needed to go to Oahu to pick up the puppy. We didn't really tell anybody yet, but one of my girlfriends asked if I needed a ride. This is just in the middle beginning of the pandemic, where you could still fly, just have a mask. So I flew for the first time and only time in this entire like 6-month process. I flew to Oahu with a mask, got my puppy, got picked up with my friend. We went to, or before we grabbed the puppy, we went to Nico's, and we're the kind of friends that like to have a beer in the middle of the day if we haven't seen each other in a long time. So they're like, oh yeah, you want a beer, or do you want a wine, or what do you want? And I was like, oh no, I'm good. Instantly, you're pregnant. I'm like, yes, pregnant, because like everybody knows me. I love wine, I love beer, I love enjoying life. So if I'm not drinking, I'm probably pregnant. But yeah, that's what it was. And so I didn't intend to tell them, but they figured it out. They're like, oh, I'm so happy for you. I'm like, thank you. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. No big deal. We're still really early. We're gonna, see how it goes. So anyway, we go back with the puppy. The puppy kind of I go back with the puppy. Puppy took a lot of our attention. Wasn't really thinking about baby all too much until my pregnancy symptoms started raging. And this was the case with Ikenna as well. I was like super sick, ridiculously sick, like not actually throwing up, because I have a kind of a big tough stomach, but everything but, like just major headaches, feeling like you want to throw up. It's almost worse than throwing up. I feel like when you throw up, at least you get the release and the relief of it. So it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, I just feel like it all day, not just in the morning. And then added on top of just the no energy. You guys, I'm a high energy person, and I don't like not having energy, so I was just struggling. And this is in the midst of me trying to do aloha always stuff, trying to figure out ways to make money since all my gigs are canceled. So I'm doing Kona wine nights, I'm trying to do merchandise, and I'm just can barely get out of bed sometimes because I'm just so sick and feel so junk. But I knew that I was, growing this baby. I'm like, oh, and I made a couple comments like, this baby better be a beast, because this thing is taking all of the energy out of me. It's sucking the life out of me. We decided to tell a few more friends here and there. I invited like Kimmy and a few other friends over, Kona friends over to my house one day for one night for dinner. I'm like, there's something I gotta tell you guys. I'm like, what? Like, is everything okay with you and Jordan? I'm like, are you guys moving off island? Like, no, we're pregnant, yay. Like, oh my God. But again, I couldn't drink. They knew I wasn't drinking, so they kind of figured it out. And then, and then we told all of our bridesmaids and groomsmen. And then in fact, one of the groomsmen's wives like sent us this book. It's like called the Baby Bump book. And it, like, you're supposed to chronicle your belly. And anyway, so we were starting to get, really stoked. And Jordan's like, let's tell my parents. So we told his mom on her birthday. This was probably about 8 weeks in. And then my family I needed to tell. I was kind of just procrastinating, trying to figure out a creative, fun way to tell them. I think last time when I was pregnant with Ikenna, I told my mom by getting her a world's best grandma card, and she had no grandchildren. So it was like a happy birthday grandma kind of thing for her birthday or something. I forget if it was birthday or Christmas. And so she's like, wait, what? Oh my God. So we're like trying to figure out something cute for that. But honestly, I felt so sick. I had no energy. I was like, I just tell them. So Jordan just like FaceTimed his parents and told him, oh no, was it a text? I think it was a text. Anyway, but he told them that way. And then I Zoomed my family because I said, it's Jordan's birthday tomorrow, because it was his birthday tomorrow. I'm like, let's get on the phone with the family and just say happy birthday to Jordan. And they're like, sure. So I had my entire family, and then we're like, actually, and we showed them the puppy. Like, actually, there's one more thing we want to share. We're gonna have another puppy. Another baby. And everyone was all stoked. And this would have been grandchild number 1, 2, 3, 4 for my parents. So they were all stoked on it. So yeah, we were going through all those exciting things. Jordan wanted to announce that that we were pregnant, and I was like a little nervous to announce it publicly because it was still first trimester. Like I said, I think we're about 9 weeks at the time. And then I saw Bindi Irwin. Do you guys know who that is? She's the crocodile hunter. She's the crocodile hunter's daughter, Bindi Irwin. She's a little cutie from Australia. I love the crocodile hunter. Actually went to his zoo in Australia before. But anyway, so if you follow, she was on Dancing with the Stars. I didn't follow her, but I saw it like on E or something, or maybe on somebody else that I follow, that she announced that she was pregnant. She's like in her little safari outfit with her husband, and they're holding up I forget what, like a little mini safari outfit. But like, we're so excited to announce that we're having a baby. Even though we're in the first trimester, we wanted to share this journey with you guys. So here it is. We couldn't be more excited. And I was like, okay, she's announcing it's first trimester. I'm like almost toward the end of my first trimester. I'm like, okay, Jordan will announce, because he really wanted to. He's so excited, and I get it. And I felt pregnant. I didn't have my appointment yet because I was so sick. I didn't make like an appointment with the doctor. I made an appointment with my PCP, but it was telehealth. I start driving to the doctor's appointment. She calls me. She's like, hi, are you in the waiting room? I'm like, no, I'm driving to the doctor. She's like, no, it's telehealth. I'm like, but I'm pregnant. I thought I was supposed to do on the real life. Are you gonna like test and make sure I'm pregnant? She's like, oh no, we're still doing telehealth. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, I took a pregnancy test and it said yes. And she's like, okay, well, we'll refer you out to the women's center of the White Male Hospital. I'm like, okay, thank you, because I gave birth there before. Long story short, that appointment didn't come around for another like month. So that's kind of why I didn't even go to the doctor for so long. But we wanted to get on with the planning, the preparation. As long as I was taking my prenatals, which I had been for months, as long as I felt good, I wasn't bleeding, everything was fine. So yep, indeed, I made a little, oh my God, I should grab it, hold on. I'm gonna start crying. I made this. Don't cry. Yeah, I had some extra onesies, and I made this little Brower Powers, my husband's logo for his personal training. So I've been making a bunch of shirts and stuff for him, so I made a little mini one. I actually sent one of these to his was supposed to be best man, but he ended up having to miss our wedding because he was in the MLB anyway. But I made one for his daughter, and so then I made one for our future baby. And it was like, we held this up for the photo. We had the little tripod ticket in our garage. We took like 20 of them with our puppy, figured out which one we all looked the best in. And then I'm like, hey babe, you're gonna post it? I'm like, you posted, oh my god, I'm so nervous. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And so he posted it. He's like, happy birthday to me. Oh, actually, I made him the cupcakes. Remember? I made cupcakes that said all of our names in like a crossword. And then at the end, I wrote, baby, like, surprise. So that was my cute little way. And then he posted the picture of this, and then I posted the picture of this after. Anyway, we knew that, or at least I knew, like, more than he did, that it was a little early. But what? Like, we're excited. Like, we're so excited, especially right now when life is so slow. Like, life is moving so much slower than it's ever moved for me. Like, this was something that we were looking forward to. From the second we tracked our ovulation, I'd been counting down the days to this baby's birthday, you know? Like, we were pumped. We wanted to make it known so that people could know why I'm not drinking. No, but why I'm not, maybe not at my tip-top health and stuff too. And also I had songs coming out that I wanted to acknowledge, shows at the Blue Note that I was gonna be like 7 months pregnant for. So I even had to cancel a couple of gigs in March, private parties, because I was like, that was my due date. Anyway, so where was I? Right? Life is what's happening when you're busy planning. I mean, I guess that's applicable to this. Hi, by the way. But at the same time, it's not, I wasn't like planning. Like, we were kind of going with the flow of life. It was just, I think the issue is like, why are people so scared to tell everybody the exciting news that they're gonna have a baby or that they're pregnant? Is it just because they are gonna be embarrassed or sad to then announce later that it didn't work out? Because okay, bottom line, guys, if you don't know, miscarriages are very, very, very common. I actually had one. Ikenna's a rainbow baby. I actually had one before this one. It was a weird one though. It was like really, really early on. Like I got a positive pregnancy test and I was like in disbelief. And that was pretty much, we told like one friend. And that was pretty much it. And then I'm on stage in Las Vegas at a show, and then I'm jumping on the red-eye flight out of Vegas on Hawaiian Airlines. And so there was like no time to even use the bathroom after I got off stage. So I felt something weird happening to me on stage. Got onto the airplane finally because we were rushing to the gate. And then that's when I saw blood like everywhere. Gross, I know, TMI. But that one was emotional, it was shocking, but it wasn't like I planned as much stuff as I planned now. And a lot of my friends who've had miscarriages, and I think a majority, it's a fact, the majority of miscarriages happen in the first 6 weeks and then 10 weeks, and then the percentages just start plummeting after that. The odds of having a miscarriage in second trimester are much, much lower than that first trimester threshold. And then, God forbid, having one in the third trimester. But since I've been sharing this story, so many friends of mine, friends that I knew, friends that I thought I knew, like, things about, are telling me that they've had, these miscarriages, like, in second trimester. One friend of mine, I didn't quite know this about her, but she gave birth to her baby. Baby died, like, 24 hours later. The point of it all is, life is a blessing. Babies are a huge blessing. You can do everything right as far as like taking your prenatals, getting the rest, not letting anything go, not lifting anything heavy, and not no strenuous activity, whatever you want to do. But if the baby's not meant to be for any reason, it's just not gonna happen, and it's heartbreaking and it's devastating, but it's life. But the more I feel like that we share, the easier it can be. I would rather the normal thing be, hey guys, I'm pregnant, let's all pray that this baby works out, come on, let's do it, and cautiously get excited, because I feel like the prayers kind of will, and the good vibes might help and make you excited, rather than you have to just suffer in secrecy throughout your first trimester sicknesses. Because that was another one. Like, I'm dying. I'm like, somebody bring me something, like some ginger or something. But like, you didn't want to tell everybody that you're pregnant. I'm like, that's the worst. Like, tell people you're pregnant, but then maybe don't like start buying baby clothes until you really feel ready, you know. And so therefore, once people know you're pregnant, you're not alone if, God forbid, you know, the baby doesn't survive. So, you know, chromosomal issue is the main reason probably why most babies don't survive. Let me finish my story. Let me just take a small break to drink a little bit more wine, because this might be where the men want to tap out, because I'm going to start talking about the physical part. Here, just quickly, there's almost 200 people in here right now, and I know more people are going to be watching this later. Why don't you guys give a little, I don't know, some sort of emoji, some easy accessible emoji. I don't know, give a thumbs up, or how about a shaka? Can you find the shaka in your repertoire? If you, wait, not just for no reason, if you have endured a miscarriage, you yourself or your wife or girlfriend or something, a miscarriage, shaka. I want to see. Vince Esquire. I'm not sure if you're shocking to say hi or if you've endured a miscarriage. Okay. See? They said okay, see? I know my girl did. If you don't feel like sharing, that's fine. But I just wanted to kind of see visually how common it is. I know that it's common, because look at my comments. There's 2,000 comments on my announcement with the little angel face baby, and a quarter of them are people saying, happened to me, happened to me, happened to me. I don't think any stage is less tragic. Actually, I probably do believe this. I believe that the further along you are, the more tragic it is. Just because, but it's not to say that earlier is not tragic as well. But the further along that you are carrying this baby, I feel like the more planning in your mind goes into it, the more people that you've told that have also been excited for you, and then the more like maybe time it might take you to kind of move forward with life. I'm still dealing with it, you guys. I'm going to share with you my next chapter, which is how it all started to kind of go downhill. I mean, I don't want to say downhill. I'm okay. I really am okay. Long story short, no, not long story short, long story long. We had that appointment finally at Waimea Women's Center where they were going to be doing a ultrasound. I had given birth there. I love that hospital. Shout out to anybody who works out there. I had my husband come with me. This was his first time. He like took off his client that day. He had a fantasy football draft like in person with a bunch of dudes that night, so we kind of had to be back in time for that fantasy football draft. So, and a few people in that draft like knew that we were going to that appointment. So and so we went out there. I parked like where we're supposed to park at the main entrance of the hospital, where you would go when you're actually giving birth to a baby. You'd pull right in there. So in fact, there was a woman coming out on a wheelchair with a brand new little baby, like so small, brand new. And I was like, oh my God, babe, look it, that's gonna be us. That's gonna be us soon. And so we had to put our masks. We walked all the way through, all the way down to the women's center side. The chairs in the waiting room were super duper far apart. So my husband and I were sitting kind of far from each other. I had a moment to like catch up on my Instagram comments. My friend Shakti, shout out Shakti, you just texted me before this. I love you, girl. She's Hapai. She also had a miscarriage prior, but she's now in a successful baby vibe right now. And so anyway, she had posted her pregnancy announcement on her Instagram, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited our babies get to grow up together. I love you, sis. Like that. That's what I wrote. And then we go into the room. Brand new doctor, had just moved to Hawaii like that week. And I was a little nervous because it was a he, one. Two, brand new doctor, like, who are you? And I don't know, I always kind of get weirded out when there's a male gynecologist. Like, why are you a gynecologist? Like, why? Like, what made you want to be that? But he was, and I read some reviews about him, and he was really, like, outgoing, like, theatrical, like, like me. And so I was like kind of nervous to meet him, but he comes walking in as I'm waiting. He comes walking in with his phone blasting one of my songs. He's like, who's this new artist I just listened to? Like, who is this? I like this. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, you're funny. I like you. I'm like, okay, ha 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 ha. So he's like, okay, this guy's gonna be cool. There's a chance that he could be the one delivering my baby. There's also 7 other women that work there that are midwives that could potentially, but you meet them all throughout the course of your appointments and stuff. So I was like, oh, this guy's funny. Like, he'd be different. You know, everyone else is so like calm and soothing. He was like blasting big deal. I'm like, okay. He's very loud. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna be able to tell you if it's a boy or a girl today. I'm like, you are? I'm like, we're only like 11 weeks. He's like, oh no, I'm gonna be able to tell you if it's a boy or a girl. Like, I'm gonna be able to tell you if it's a boy or, like, basically he was trying to give like a bad dad joke. Like, I'm gonna be able to tell you if it's a human. I'm like, haha, gotcha. He's like, you know how many people I trick with that one? I'm like, oh, that's not very nice, but haha, funny. So then we waited for the ultrasound machine because it was being used, and then he had the one ready, but the machine wasn't working, only the one that could go on top of your tummy. He's like, oh no, yeah, I'm not seeing really anything in here right now, so no, we gotta go the one that goes inside of your. I'm like, yeah, they could not find the attachment, so like, I don't know, the energy started shifting because like the nurse was trying to help him. He's brand new, he doesn't quite know how to plug stuff in correctly. Another woman comes in, she's like, she recognized me from the last time I gave birth. She's like, hi, good to have you back. She's like, you remember me from last time? I took out your epidural. I'm like, oh yeah, totally didn't remember her. I'm like, totally, yes, good to see you. She's like, good to have you back again. I'm like, I know. All of these things are like gonna make me cry because now I'm realizing how freaking sad it is. But then he finally got the new attachment for my feet up on the stirrups, husband holding my hand, the screen right there, puts it all up in there, and he's like moving it around, so like, I'm like, ow, I'm like, huh. He's like, you have a really tilted cervix. Did you know that? I'm like, yeah, I've been told I have a tilted cervix. That sounds weird, but it's like a thing where 25% of women have their cervix, instead of flipping upward, it flips inward. So you just have to like, it's just not the right way. It doesn't make a difference in like sex or having a baby. You're not expecting it. It's like it goes that way instead of that way. Long story short, they checked. He was checking one way, checking the other way, and he was just silent. And so all that energy that he had before, like, I'm gonna be able to tell if it's a boy or a girl, just like, he just changed, everything changed. And I saw like the little mass, but I knew that at this point it wasn't supposed to just be a little mass. It was supposed to be more of like a formed baby. And so there's no heartbeat. And he's like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't see a heartbeat here. Like, and as soon as, I just will always remember the way he said, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Like, it was just so, and I was like in disbelief. Like, I had a smile. We were all wearing masks too, so I couldn't really like, I just like stuck with my smile. And I'm like, no. He's like, I could be wrong. Are you sure about your dates? Maybe your dates are off. And I'm like, oh no. My dates are not off. Like, I've been tracking with my Flow app. Flow's my friend. So that bummed me out. It didn't quite hit me just then. He's like, I'm sorry, but like everything changed. Like, I feel like everything in that room changed. The nurse, the local girl nurse that was in with me, her vibe changed. She just quickly kind of packed up the machine. He's like, I want you to go back into the, to go get a blood test right now, and then you're gonna go check your HCG levels, which is like the hormone levels for women if they're pregnant, in a couple of days out in Kona. And if they go down, then you know that you're not pregnant, because you're supposed to like double, triple every single day if you really are. So then I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, but I mean, if you got your dates right, then I'm sorry. Like, and I was just like, I did not believe that that was even a possibility. I don't know. I thought that we were gonna have twins. My mom had twins, and I'm 34, gonna be 35, and I was super sick. I was like, I'm gonna have twins, I know it. And then it ended up being not even one. Oh, it was so horrible. And so I started crying in the room. Jordan was like, it's okay, I still have hope. Like, he was just having hope, and I like pretty much like knew, like, it can't be. Like, it can't be. Like, the baby's supposed to be there already. I knew the dates. Like, yeah. So anyway, I wiped my face, put my sunglasses on, walked over to the blood section, got poked, walked back out the same way we walked in, past all the same people that we walked in on the way in, like all the same workers, walked to our car, which was parked where we had parked it. And I just remember, like, when we got into that parking stall, like the joy and happiness that we were feeling. And then now, you know, an hour and a half later, we're walking back with just like despair and like sorrow. Like, and it's an hour drive to Waimea, so that whole ride home I'm just losing my shit. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, I just kept saying, what are we gonna do? I mean, it's so, in hindsight, it's not like tragic, but it was just like you're just shocked. Like, in 1 second, your whole entire, what you think is real and what you think life is gonna be like is gone. And like, I thought we'd crossed somewhat of a threshold, you know, like I thought that I was not getting my hopes up too early. You know, we're almost 12 weeks, we're almost into our second trimester. Like, it's not supposed to be that early, but what I regret, they're not supposed to, you know, be that, I don't know how to explain it, you know what I mean. Anyway, everything just flipped upside down. Yes, Bori lay music. Cheers. Commercial break. You want to see something gross? It's gross and sad. It's gross because I peed on all of these things, but it's sad because they all say positive, but I'm not positive anymore. Those are all I saved them. So much pee. I know, yeah, so much pee. Okay, moving on. Got home. Jordan had to go to that damn fantasy football draft. There was no way he could cancel it because he's like one of the main guys and they were having it in person. And even though I'm losing my mind, and we just found out that, oh, so yeah, they said the baby is no heartbeat, which means it's still inside of me, which means I have to pass it naturally. Or there's basically three options. You can have expectant management, which means you just wait for it to pass. You could take a shot, misoprostol, I forget how to pronounce it, which speeds up your dilation, basically to expel. It's like a forced abortion, basically. Some people choose to have abortions like that by taking this shot or something, pill, and it expels everything inside of your uterus over the course of a couple days or so. And of course I read every single article about every single option, and then the third option was just to, if you wanted to or if you needed to, get DNC, which is a dilation and curettage, I believe is the word. I can't pronounce stuff good after drinking some wine, but yeah, DNC. I had friends who had every single variety of those things. I don't know why. I think I just kind of wanted to see what was going to happen. Maybe if it wasn't going to come out naturally, I would be down to take the pill. It freaked me out when he said I had a curved cervix or a whatever, tilted. So I'm like, is that going to prevent it from coming out naturally? Like, I got a epidural the last time I gave birth, and baby came out naturally and it wasn't any complications, but I was like a little nervous that maybe since it wasn't like a full pregnancy, my cervix wouldn't open big enough to let this, 11-week baby pass out through. But what I didn't really think in my head is that this baby stopped growing probably, and I still don't know exactly when it stopped growing. So a lot of people, the doctors will tell them based on the ultrasound photo, based on how big they are, when it stopped growing, like when the heart stopped beating. And then I've also read things that say that the baby, after being in there for so long with no heartbeat or, not growing, will shrink. Like the uterus will shrink. Sometimes the uterus continues to grow and the baby just stays the same size. Like I don't really know exactly what was the situation. Like this new doctor, I'm sure he probably could have told me, but I was just so emotional. I just wanted to get out of there as fast as possible. I did go and get the second blood test a few days later, like not the day after like I thought I was going to, because I just needed a day to like get away. but I knew the answer already. Like, I just felt like I knew it. And then, like, in hindsight, I could tell, like, my boobs were super, super huge, and my, guys, again, earmuffs, my nipples are, like, super sensitive, and they normally aren't that sensitive, so they got, like, super sensitive when I was pregnant, and I knew these things. Boobs huge, sensitive, headache in the morning, feeling super tired. I thought it was just, all of that kind of was subsiding in the week prior, maybe week or two prior to that appointment. And I thought it was just because I was approaching my second trimester. I was like, yay, I'm finally getting through this fucking morning sickness. I can, like, function again, yay. But in hindsight, I realize now it was probably because I lost the baby. Like, it had probably passed 2 weeks prior. And that growth period between 8 weeks and 12 weeks is huge. Like, the baby is going from, like, this to this. Its head from a 50-50 ratio to, like, looking like a normal baby. So there's no way, I think now at this point, of really knowing how far along I was when it stopped. And again, I already am past the point where I'm not in need of any consolation. Like, you don't need to console me and tell me that I didn't do anything wrong, because I know I didn't. I was so good. Like, I was taking my prenatals, I was everything that I thought I was supposed to do, but it just wasn't meant to be. There was something wrong with the baby. My body knew it, and it stopped it. And women out there, that's what you guys have to know too, in case nobody's telling you. It's all good. Just, I mean, if you're doing bad things, freaking stop, knock it off. But people can be doing bad things and have perfectly healthy babies too. That also happens. So just take care of yourself the most that you possibly can, right? That's all we really can do. And that baby will feel those vibes. And if it's not meant to be a healthy, strong, survival of the fittest baby, and your body will know that, and it's gonna, save it from having to suffer in its life. Anyway, a few days after that, after just kind of going through the feelings of feeling sad, still feeling sad, but I started bleeding. And it was just like a little spotting at first, and then one of those times he kind of like saw the blood, and he walked, like, he just was like, wait, what is that blood? Like, he knew what bleeding was, and I kind of was like, hey, I can't stop not tell him anymore. Plus all his classmates, because we had announced it on our Instagram, his teachers and classmates in first grade were all giving me congratulations. I went to yoga the very next day after finding out, because I was just like, oh my gosh, I need something for my mind. So I went to yoga, and I wasn't bleeding yet, but I knew I had like a baby that wasn't alive inside of me anymore. But I was super lightheaded the other times when I was pregnant and I went to yoga, like super ridiculously lightheaded. So this time, like, I knew I was gonna have to take it easy, but I needed it for my mind. So anyway, I show up to yoga, and the sweet yoga lady who owns the studio, Krista, she was like, oh my gosh, I saw your Instagram. This is the day after I found out that no baby, but I didn't tell anybody yet. She's like, well, here's a little printout. She like gave me a printout of like all these different variations of the yoga positions that we can do when my belly starts growing, and things that would help protect the baby and help be good for the baby. And I'm just having to like watch her and be sweet and smiley, because I'm not quite ready to like tell her, and I didn't even tell my parents yet. Like, I'm not going to tell sweet yoga lady first, and I wasn't in mental state to do that. But I just had to listen to her whole little speech and like nod and like take the pamphlet with me and like the whole time I'm just like, oh my gosh, like in yoga I'm just like thinking in my head, like, this is rough, this sucks. I had to like lay down a few times because I'm still feeling all those hormones. It takes a while for them all to go bye-bye. Like, I could still maybe I have to take a pregnancy test and just see if it still comes out positive, because those hormones are still there. So I talk about emotional wreck, like I was emotional AF. Anyway, mustered the courage to get through that, and also tell a few other friends throughout the week. Jordan was being super strong. He wasn't even crying with me. Oh, he said he went to the fantasy football draft thing, and everybody's like having fun and drinking and like woohoo, and like even Adam, our friend who does the wine nights thing with me, he knows we're pregnant, of course, and he's like, so how was the appointment? Was the appointment good? And Jordan had to be like, yeah, it was good, all good. And even all the people he trains this pregnant lady. She's super sweet, and she's like maybe 4 months before me, like after, like more than me. And so every time I walk past her, I'm always like, hey girl, how you feeling? And she's like, good, how are you feeling? I'm like, good. I'm making sure Jordan's taking all these notes because he'll start training me once I get past all this morning sickness. So like all of those little interactions that I've, you know, developed over the first just 3 months of being pregnant, just all of that had to change. It all of that had to just stop. And then seeing Bindi Irwin, you know, that girl who announced that she was pregnant, almost the exact same amount of pregnant as I was. Like, she just posted something on her Instagram, I think yesterday or today. Like, baby couldn't be healthier. And she's like posting the picture of the ultrasound. I'm like, it's like always gonna suck. And I was talking to my other friend about this too. She's like, yeah, I know exactly which celebrities are pregnant the same time as me, because you always do. Like, my first child was the same age as Prince William and Kate, the first baby of Prince William and Kate. That's Ikenna's age. So I remember, like, you know, look, and even Chrissy Teigen just announced she's pregnant again. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have a baby the same time as Chrissy Teigen. I'm like, oh yeah, Nicki Minaj, me and Nicki Minaj, baby's gonna be the same. Of course, in my real life, like, my best friend Kimie, I'm gonna have a baby. So we had like a group text message with her saying like, oh my god, we're gonna have babies the same age, because my son is so much older than her kids. And then even another best friend of mine, she was literally 1 week apart. Our due date was 1 week apart. 1 week. So we're like freaking out, so excited. When I finally texted like my best friends, I had copy and pasted to all my people. I didn't have the energy to like call or do an individualized one to each friend. I just was like, hey, look, this is really tough. It was kind of like a spin-off of the one I ended up posting on my Instagram. Like, this is really difficult, blah, blah, blah. I had sent that to her, one of my other best friends, and it just so happened to have been at the exact same time that they were doing their gender reveal party. I was horrified. I didn't know, of course, they're up in the mainland, but I saw on her husband's like, it's a girl. I'm like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. Like, I mean, I'm sorry for myself, and I'm sure she's sorry for me. It's not like that. I just meant like, I'm so sorry if I took away from any of the excitement that you're feeling. Like, I'm still so freaking stoked for you. Like, my baby's not here anymore, but you're still having yours. Like, I'm so happy for you. I genuinely am. And just the timing was fucking horrible. But anyway, that sucked. Yeah. And I hope that people who are watching this, if you're feeling what I'm feeling, you're like, yes, girl, yes. Yeah. Because when you're that far along, it's freaking so rough to change your mind back to the regular babyless life, you know what I mean? Wine makes it better. Anyway, what else did I have here? Oh, yeah, I have to finish the story. Just today, I went to, so we posted on our Instagram, 2,000 comments, over 2,000 comments of people saying their condolences and then like saying, thank you for sharing, like, I'm so brave. I appreciate that. But I don't feel like I should be, I'm just shameless sometimes. That's the only thing that I am. I'm not brave. I'm just shameless. I'm not seeking attention. I know this is so common, but I also do want to use this for a good reason, because I found I'll stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning just on my phone. How can you tell that the miscarriage is complete? How do you know that it's all out? How long before you can start trying again? Like, that's the stage that I'm in right now. But when I first had the miscarriage, I was just reading blogs and first-hand accounts of everything that people were going through, the variety of ways that the baby could come out, the D&C, the pills, going under, because if the baby didn't come out, you might have to go under anesthesia, and then they'd have to dilate you and pull it out, and then you come out of it. I'm like, that's so traumatic, plus it's so far away. I'm like, I have shit to do. I don't want to have to go through that. I'm like, I just want this to be done with. This waiting game has been so hard, like waiting for the baby to come out. and I don't want to, like, can you recognize it? Like, at this point, are you going to be able to see what gender it is? I mean, my best friend, she's 1 week behind me, and she knows that hers is a girl. So I'm like, no, ours is going to have a gender. Do we dissect, like, the little sac? Like, what does the sac look like? I'm, like, looking for pictures, and some are graphic, some are gross. I'm looking at other women's uteruses that are in a toilet paper. Like, I was looking up every single thing I possibly could, because I didn't feel that connection to that doctor. You know, and my PCP was not a gynecologist, and it was like telehealth, and it was just, I just kind of felt alone on the medical side, and I still kind of do. So I really relied on just other people sharing their story, and that's another thing why I'm happy to do this. So anyway, I had been feeling really, really crampy. This was about right around the time when I announced that you guys, around September 1st or so. Oh wait, I found out that the baby was no longer alive on September like 1st, and then it took me a week to tell everybody. And I remember right before I pressed post on Instagram, like, we prayed. Like, I told my son and my husband and our puppy, he like grabbed our hand. It was so cute. We're holding hands every time we hold hands, like for dinner and stuff. The puppy like puts his little paws up there, like he wants to pray with us. So cute. But yeah, I was like, I'm so scared right now. I'm so scared. I'm freaking out. And it was like a sense of embarrassment. And I know I'm not supposed to feel that way, but that's how I felt. I'm like so embarrassed. Like, how stupid am I for announcing so early when it was still risky? But I don't know if that's the way I should feel. I don't want to feel that way. I don't want other people to feel that way either. Anyway, so we prayed, please give me the strength to like get through this. And then it was like, as soon as I pressed post, the support was just boom, like prayer answered instantly. Like, I was like overwhelmed with the support. I still am, actually, just so thankful for that. One thing that I did, I have to say this, and I'm sorry if the person who said this is listening, and I'm sorry. One thing you shouldn't really say to somebody who just had a miscarriage is, like, if you're like selling stuff in like a pyramid scheme, like a health product, don't try to get me to buy your health product. Like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. We gotta get you on my health product. Like, fuck you. I don't want to say what health product it is. But no, I don't want your health product. I'm fine. I've been doing my thing. So just remember that. Anyway, so then I started cramping really bad, like period cramps. I get them in my back. Bought a bunch of pads. Instacart lady brought them. Probably the same lady who brought me the pregnancy test. Now is bringing me pads. I'm like sad. I'm like, oh. And yeah, you can't use tampons, so it's like freaking annoying. So it's just disgusting. So much blood. But nothing like super big was coming out. Okay, boys, cover your ears if you're grossed out easily. But I'm sharing this story. You signed up for this. You're here. You gotta listen to it. So I freaking, nothing huge was coming out of me. Just blood clots, and I knew they were blood clots. I know what blood clots look like. Haven't had my period in 4 months, you know. So I knew that there was a lot of stuff in there. And I was like, did it disintegrate? Like, did my body just disintegrate this baby? Like, where is it? I'm like, or am I gonna have to get the DNC because my cervix is tilted? I can't get it out. Like, the last time I had a miscarriage, they had opened the cervix. You know, they open you up a little bit just with this calipers. No, not calipers. You know what I'm talking about? That cold thing. And then they crank it open ever so slightly, and they give you the pap smear. Yeah, they did that with me. This is when I was like 6 weeks pregnant and bleeding. And they said that the mass was like stuck just right on the tip of like my cervix. So then they stuck the little tweezers and pulled it out, and they like plopped it in like a petri dish or like a little pea in this cup, and like, here you go. Like, here you go. Sorry about your loss. I'm like, oh, this was the first time when I was before you kind of. So I thought maybe that was gonna happen, that they're gonna have to like open me up and maybe pull it out or help guide it out because my cervix wasn't opening. Women, this is for you, because boys, you guys, I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but fuck, this is what it is. But then one random night, this was on Saturday, it had been 3 weeks. 3 weeks tomorrow since I found out the baby's heartbeat stopped. So it's 2.5 weeks. On Saturday night at the Kona wine night that I do every week, I'm running around. Like, I used to work in restaurants, so that's why I love Kona wine nights, because I get to kind of relive my restaurant days where I'm like running around, clearing tables, changing out trash cans, greeting guests, seating them at their table. Right this way, ma'am. Like, with my mask on, so I kind of don't feel like myself. It's like fun. And I was feeling better. I've been having so much energy, like more energy than ever. Plus, I can finally have wine at Kona wine night. This whole time I've been doing Kona wine nights, no wine. So I'm like having a great night, actually. And then I'm like, oh, I gotta pee. Go to the bathroom. Yep. It was in there. Baby was in there. It was not in the toilet. It was still in my hat. Gross, I know. But it's my baby. It's gross, but it's not gross. But it is. It was like the size of a half of a banana. And it was all slimy. I wrapped it up. Had to go back to work. People are waiting for me. So I asked for a to-go container. Like a little one. And I put it in the to-go container, told everybody, I'm like, guys, I think the baby just came out. They're like, what? I'm like, it's okay, it's all good. I'm like, can I have another glass of wine? Here we go. And I just completed wine night. I had to perform. I performed, knowing that my child is in my purse in a to-go container. Like, what are you gonna do, guys? Don't fucking give me that look or be disgusted of me. If you guys are all sitting around judging me right now, don't. I'm being honest. But yeah, that's what I had to do, because I didn't want to just flush it. I have been presented with the decision beforehand, you know, if and when it happens, if it's going to be in the toilet at home, do I just flush it? If it's going to be, I'd never expected it to be at Kona Wine Nights. I'm at home all day, every day. Like, why would it have happened? Maybe because I was moving around so much. Normally I'm just at home. I go to yoga, but I don't like run as much anymore. So it was finally, my body's like moving and shaking, and it just finally was like, oh, here we go. And so anyway, that was rough. I couldn't quite discern a head or a body, but I definitely saw all like the sack and the cords. I tried to like maybe separate, but it was just too, I couldn't do it. But I still have it, and I think we're gonna bury it in the yard. So gross, I know, but it's what are you gonna do? It's sad. It's a part of reality. It's a part of life. Death is a part of life. Anyway, my son wants to bury it and then maybe plant a tree or something, but we might not stay at this house forever. And we're never not staying at this house forever, but I don't want to plant a tree and then we have to move. So maybe we'll get like a potted plant and plant it in the potted plant so we can take it with us wherever we go. Anybody else do anything with their, fetus? Name her. Yeah, I don't know if it was a boy or girl. I can't quite tell. I wish I got like the chromosome test before, but then again, no, I don't, because I don't want to. I always felt it was a girl, or like I said, I felt it was twins. I felt it was triplets. But look if you notice, I'm wearing a lot of rainbows today. Rainbow. I have a little rainbow back there. I have a rainbow back there. Rainbow babies are the term that the community of women who've had miscarriages have created when they're calling their kids that they have after, like God's promise, the rainbow. After flooding the earth, after flooding my heart with sadness, there's the promise that God's gonna give you another baby. Palafunga sent me a sweet text saying that in Hawaiian culture, it means that the body's preparing for, an even more amazing baby thereafter. So there's that kind of stuff that's giving me hope. But yeah, I've been screen recording this with all of the comments that you guys have been making. So thank you for giving all of your positive vibes and your good feedback. So I'm going to go ahead and read all of them afterwards, and definitely post this video with all the comments so that other people who may watch it are going to see, the few things that you might have to say. But again, I want to give it the opportunity to have a comment section where you guys can go off and write pages on pages if you want to, or link to other blogs that you found to be helpful. I found a lot of blogs that like were so helpful. Thankfully I didn't like take the baby bump pictures, but I definitely like was showing. Thankfully I didn't like know what gender it was, so I wasn't like buying stuff yet, but it's still that. Let's do some Stevie Wonder. I love you guys. Anybody else want to talk about anything while I'm still here? I got maybe 3 minutes in me, and then I want to go hang out. Prince Esquire was listening the whole time? You weren't grossed out of all my graphic details? Thank you, Brandy. Hey. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I feel so much better, like so much energized, much more energized now that I'm not pregnant anymore. So that's one good thing. Like I feel like I'm gonna tackle some projects, and I have a new song coming out. We're gonna do a music video for Hard Place and for my new song that's coming out called Ready and Willing. Oh my god, Ready and Willing is so good. It's super good. I'm so excited for Hard Place is also great. Ready and Willing is my jam. But thank you guys for listening to me, keeping it real while maintaining the aloha. I'm gonna go. Love you guys. Mwah.